Hey guys, today I'm talking about Kegels. One of the interesting things about a Kegel is that you might hear a cue, pretend like you're holding your pee back. And that it's not entirely wrong, it's just not complete. So I'm going to explain a little bit about our pelvic floor first. I want you to think about your pelvic floor as a clock. So we have our pubic bone in the front, we have our tailbone in the back. Let's say our pubic bone is 6 o'clock, our tailbone in the back, our coccyx, is our 12 o'clock. We have our two bony hip bones here, let's call them 3 and 9 o'clock. So that's just a little framework for how you can think about your clock. Your pelvic floor actually has 3 openings. From the back we have our anus, and then we have the vaginal opening, and we have our urethra, which is actually where the pee comes out. So if someone says, hold your pee back, they're really only addressing the front of your pelvic floor. But the problem is you're not really thinking about your back of the pelvic floor. So when you are doing a Kegel or squeezing a pelvic floor contraction, I want you to think about back, middle, front. So think about squeezing from the back, your anus, the middle, which would be your vagina, and the front, which would be your urethra. So it's back, middle, front. So sort of like a... So the best way to describe this is like a jellyfish going through the water. Kind of goes, or if you've seen Toy Story, the claw, pulling the toy back up. So when someone is telling you to Kegel or to do a pelvic floor contraction, you actually want to think back to front and squeezing up and in. So when you hear pull your, stop the pee, or, pretend you're not going to pass gas or something like that, that is partially correct. It's a way to think about that pelvic floor contraction, but it's not entirely correct because we want to be able to think back to front. So up and in with our pelvic floor lift. So I'll be talking a little bit more about the pelvic floor and how we can think about this contraction. So as I'm coming towards you and talking about your pelvic floor lift, you can think jellyfish, or the claw. Hope that was helpful.